Jake and Emily, both 27, had what looked like a perfect life. They married at 21, built a solid foundation together, had promising careers, a beautiful home, and most importantly, a firm, unbreakable agreement. They would never have children. That was crystal clear from the beginning. They both craved freedom, success, travel, and no diapers, no school runs, no crying babies. But fate, as cruel as it can be, turned everything upside down one August afternoon. Emily's sister and her husband died in a tragic accident. They left behind 2 children, Noah, a sensitive 6-year-old boy, and Lily, a 3-year-old full of life and innocence. Emily was Noah's godmother. Jake was Lily's godfather. Because it all happened so fast, the kids naturally stayed with Emily and Jake for a few days. The couple cared for them during this painful time. But soon as the legal process moved forward, social services came with a question. Are you going to take custody of the children? When Jake and Emily sat down to talk, Jake hesitated. Emily didn't. She was firm. No, I'm not giving up my life for something I never wanted. I'm not going to be a mother to these kids. Jake was shocked. But they're your family, our godchildren. They just lost their parents. They need us. Emily didn't budge. They need someone who wants them. I don't. And being thrown into this situation doesn't change that. I won't live tied down by choices I didn't make. Jake tried everything. Conversations, tears, promises. But Emily remained gold. It's your decision now. Do whatever you want. But I won't raise them. That's when he said, I've never been so disappointed in you. She replied, me neither. Days passed in silence. The tension between them only grew with the kids' visible pain. Jake still loved Emily, but he couldn't watch her turn away, not when those kids had no one left. So he went to social services, explained everything. They agreed to grant him sole custody in case of separation. Jake filed for divorce, so Emily wouldn't have to be bothered with the children anymore. Less than a week later, she packed her things and left. The marriage ended quietly. No screaming, no drama, just a quiet kind of pain that never left Jake's heart. The months that followed were emotionally devastating. Lily cried at night, asking for her parents. Noah became overly protective, too mature for his age. Jake had to become a father fast. Sleepless nights, homework, fears, hard questions that crushed the soul. But he never once regretted his choice. Over time, the 3 of them built something strong. Jake wasn't just the uncle who stepped in. He became their father, their comfort, their anchor. 9 years later, Lily was 12 and full of light. Noah, now 15, was quiet and introspective, but fiercely loyal to Jake. Emily, on the other hand, stayed alone. No new relationships, no close connections. Until one day, she was diagnosed with a degenerative disease. She needed constant help. Fragile, without friends or family, she was unexpectedly assisted by Noah. Jake never forbade contact, so Noah began visiting. He brought groceries, helped with chores, but never smiled, never looked her in the eyes. He was helpful, but distant. One day, weak and lonely, Emily finally asked, "Why are you like this with me, Noah? You help me, but it feels like you hate me. Why?" No one looked at her with the same eyes of a child who once watched the woman meant to protect him walk away. And then he calmly said, "Because I refuse to be like you." She froze. "What do you mean?" "You saw someone hurt, scared, and you walked away. I won't do that. Even though helping you was never part of my plans, I'm doing what's right. Because I refuse to be the kind of person who turns their back on someone who needs them." Her world crumbled. Tears welled in her eyes, maybe for the first time out of genuine regret. She tried to speak, but there was nothing to say, because right there, Standing in front of her was the greatest lesson life could deliver. A boy she abandoned had grown into a man far greater than she would ever be.